Welcome to Employer Live Career and Conversations. I'm Berdina Hill with Career and Employability Resources at Tri-County Technical College. Employer Live is an opportunity to hear information from our employers in the area. Today, we will have a short question and answer session focusing on tips for seniors seeking full-time employment. We are honored today to have Johnathan Thrasher from ECS Southeast LLC. Thank you, Johnathan, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, we're actually going to jump right into the question part. So, Johnathan, do you mind sharing with us today about ECS Southeast LLC and your position?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name is Johnathan Thrasher. I'm the branch manager of the ECS Greenville branch. So ECS and I also serve as a senior reviewer for our company as well in this office. So ECS is a company, really kind of four core service lines. We perform geotechnical engineering, we perform construction site quality control, quality assurance, and that's things like materials testing, special inspections, as well as we do what they call CE&I on the transportation side. We also have facilities consulting, and then this includes building envelope testing and some related services. And then also we do environmental engineering and environmental consulting as well, particularly when it comes to due diligence services, particularly property acquisition, that kind of thing, where they need to evaluate the properties beforehand. So as far as the company itself, 1,800 people, primarily eastern half of the U.S. We do have offices elsewhere, including Texas, Oklahoma, and we branch out elsewhere when we need to take care of our clients in certain other states as well. So really an employee and client service-based company. We try to focus on that, also focus on our safety as well. But that's really what we're all about and what kind of summary of what ECS is.
Fantastic. At this time and with the current climate, has it impacted your company at all? And are there still employment opportunities at this time? And if so, what are your general needs?
Yeah, so it's affected everybody to some regard in some ways, even just operationally, how we make sure that we're following all the protocols and everything that we need to do. But because we're so tied into the construction industry, to architectural and engineering industries, we are considered an essential business. So in many of our states, we have been fully operational, albeit with some changes. There are some states where we have been impacted more so, where construction sites are shut down, then we aren't working as much either. So it has had some impact on us, and we've had to make changes to take care of our employees and our clients. So there has been changes to us. Now we're impacted by things like weather and as well, and then of course if the economy's not doing well, we're impacted too. But really, what we've really seen is that it's really not so much as a kind of shutting us down or anything like that, or mass problems, but there's been delays on projects, and so it has we've had to accommodate the situation we find ourselves in. So we are still hiring when it comes to particularly entry-level positions here in the Greenville market. Not so much. We've done a good job of employee high retention rate. So we've been able to hang on to the people we have, and that's something that I've focused on since I came into this position. So we actually don't need that many entry-level people, but that changes quickly. We get a bunch of projects in, stuff finally starts kicking off that we've been waiting on. All of a sudden, we're back to hiring again. So right now, we're not in that need. However, that every market's different. We have probably more offices than not that are looking for something. Now, that may be, like in my case, where it's looking for more senior level people, but there's opportunities in other cities as well, even just for entry level positions. More than half of our company, employee-wise, is actually field staff, including field technicians across the departments, particularly on our materials side, testing side. So that's a place where really a lot of times people start into that position. Matter of fact, even our current president started out as an intern and technician and worked his way through over the years. So there are entry level positions, but they're gateway to so much more for us. And so those positions do come open pretty often, and I would be frankly pretty surprised if I'm not reposting my technician position, in a matter of months.
Well, that's great that you have been able to still accommodate your staff and y'all still working as normal as you can be at this time. So generally, upcoming graduates worry about obtaining employment. So can you give me 5 tips that you would give a student that's looking for employment?
Yeah, I think there's, starting out with just when you're doing the search, as far as when you're looking for jobs and trying to apply for jobs, when you're getting that resume ready, make sure that you're not just sending the same resume to everybody. We're going to see that. We're going to notice it when you're doing that. Customize and take the time to look into your company, the company you're applying for, to customize what you're doing. Also think about what your end goal is in mind. I realize the situation is that sometimes you're just trying to pay the bills in the near term. We recognize that. Those of us who lived through '08 and different points in the economy realize that as well. But think about where you're going with it. What are you trying to accomplish with this job? And be honest about it. Be honest with yourself and be honest with who you're applying to. There's times where we will hire, realizing the person may not be a career person with us, but you may not know until you get into it. People change. We've had people that were a nice surprise in that regard. So, go into it with, how does this work out for me in my next step, whatever that is and what my end goal is. Don't be afraid to take some initiative with it. You put a resume out. Some companies, I like to think, we're pretty good about responding back to applicants, but don't be afraid if there's that, recruiting at whatever email address, to shoot an email to somebody, say, hey, I applied for this, I really want the job. That extra little bit of initiative may pay off if that person that's the first one to look at it may start taking a second look and be like, okay, let me go and jump down to that person. They're taking the time to actually bug me about it. Let's see what's up. So a little initiative goes a long way. Also, don't be afraid to think outside the box of positions. Sometimes people are, because of the type of industry we're in, with the testing side particularly, people don't really even know we even exist. So we've got people that'll be having a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, and something maybe that's more construction related. But what we do ties in so much with that. So don't be afraid to think about, okay, I've heard of this position or this type of company or this type of industry that's somehow tied into what I want to do. Maybe I need to consider that as well. So that's another thing I would give. And also try to figure out what's important in position. This kind of ties somewhat into the resume thing, but figure out what's important when you're pursuing that job. This will pay off for when you're doing the resume and first applying, but also when you're interviewing. Again, we like people that are taking the time to actually kind of think through what they're getting into with it. So think through, okay, what have I done that even may not seem directly applicable? It may in some way be applicable to the job based on my research, and highlight that, whether it's a resume or that first conversation with that recruiter or that hiring manager.
Those are some great tips. What are some common recruiting practices that you utilize to gain employees?
So of course we use the conventional sites, when it comes to hiring, a whole range of them that we touch on. So that's obviously one way, but one of the things we really focus on with our company is word of mouth, because if I have somebody, a technician or an engineer that's referring to somebody else, that's helpful for me as a hiring manager because there's already a little bit of knowledge there. And so having that word of mouth is so important and it's so helpful to get that. And we want employees to be able to bring on people they already know. We want to foster an environment where they can bring on people they want to work with, and that makes it so much easier from a teamwork perspective as well. We also do work with the community colleges and the technical colleges, because that's a great resource for us to talk to you and to work with you on that, because there's a lot of students that are coming out, they're got a little bit more motivation, they're working on something related, some kind of degree or some kind of program, and that's useful for us as well to get involved on that way. And that's another direction that comes to us. And sometimes it's just people seeing our name on a truck or something and looking us up too. So we get people through a range of different directions.
So you kind of touched on what you feel the most effective was kind of word of mouth. What do you feel has not been maybe the least effective for you as far as recruiting?
I don't know if there's any particular thing that's least effective. It's kind of what's the best way and what's kind of everything else. So I don't know if there's a particular one that's particularly least effective, and it varies because sometimes we'll try one thing and we'll go where we're getting most of our recruits a certain direction. Then the next thing you know, we don't get any recruits at all from that. So I don't know if there's any one particular one that I would consider least effective.
Okay. Thank you. We always need advice, and our graduate needs advice. So what is some advice that you would give to your prospective employees?
I would say from the get-go, go in the mindset of being nice. I mean, may seem kind of obvious, but I know people come in nervous when they're coming in for an interview or even on a phone call, but don't be afraid, be nice, be courteous to everybody you meet along the process, whether it's that first phone call that's from, maybe it is from a recruiter, or it may be directly from the hiring manager. But be professional, be courteous, be respectful of them, listen, ask questions, you know, do research. Like I said, I mean, a lot of it may seem kind of common sense stuff, but that's really, you know, especially for these entry-level positions, knowing what you're talking about as best you can, but also realizing that you may not understand really the aspects of it, or being willing to ask questions and say, you know what, you know, I've tried to read all this stuff and I really don't know exactly what's going on. Can you explain it to me? So also being honest in the process.
So, kind of going along with that, when you hire someone, what can a candidate do to ensure that they're going to be successful? So, how can you ensure high success in your industry?
You know, and I'm going to focus particularly on these entry-level positions, particularly given the context. But when you're coming in, make sure you're doing the little things right. Be on time, be early, you know, work hard, you know, be respectful of your coworkers and everybody, being proactive, asking for the next task. Somebody that's proactive and is out there working hard and trying to learn as much as they can, as quickly as they can, that's going to pay off for them. You know, if somebody doesn't care, you know, how much am I going to care too? So, you know, I'm going to look for talent, I'm going to look for that, but just being willing to work hard at the job. A lot of what we do, especially with so much of our work being in the field on construction sites or in the woods and everything else, you know, it's hard work. I mean, to the point that, you know, my department managers are out in the field regularly. I'm even in the field occasionally, and it's really a career thing in this line of work. So those simple little things, it may seem, again, just like with the other stuff, it may seem a little bit too simplistic, but at the beginning, that's what I'm looking for, is being safe, working hard, being straight up with us, and being as proactive as you can, and being willing to learn, because you're going to need to learn a lot in a hurry, and it is kind of a weird job we do in some ways.
Okay. Being a job seeker, they use a lot of platforms and a lot of internet access. So, if you could give two best practices for job seekers connecting with company representative on social media platforms like LinkedIn, what would those two best practices be?
But for one, I'd say all the same things that apply to any other way you're communicating with somebody still apply. You know, I realize you're not going to write a full paragraph the way your resume may say, but not using too much, you know, shorthand. Some of us may not always catch the acronyms and things you're using, so you still want to be friendly. It's going to be a little bit of a different way of communicating, I realize, and so there's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different, but you still need to be professional. If in doubt, go too far that route. People don't want to seem stiff or something like that in social media, and you don't have as many characters to use as you would with a resume. But think through how you're presenting yourself, how somebody else, somebody who's going to be my future, you know, either the recruiter who's going to refer me back to the manager or who's going to be my future manager, how are they going to perceive this? So all that stuff still applies. Again, it's not to say that you're not going to be friendly, and even perhaps it's maybe a little bit different level than what you are going to be when you're first walking in for an in-person interview. So personalize it. You know, if you're reaching out to somebody like LinkedIn, you know, a lot of our engineering staff uses that, or a lot of people that reach out for some of the higher level positions will use that, but still personalize it. You know, if you're trying to touch base with somebody that doesn't know you, explain why you're reaching out to them, and make sure it's customized. Use their name. You know, if you bother to look up somebody on a social media site, reach out to them, use their name. You know, be respectful, but look at it, say, and be as personalized or as specific as you can. Again, showing you've done your research, and also tie that back in. And also, when if you do get a response, be prompt responding back. And it really goes with a lot of this. Is, you know, if we're going to be prompt to try to get back to you, you should be ready for the same, because you never know when you're going to get that call back on it, or that text back, or whatever it is, email. So be prompt on it too, because I'm looking at that too. How quickly does somebody get back to me? How interested are they really in this job?
Be prompt, students. All right, so kind of the last thing, but still important, if a student is interested or someone is interested in ECS Southeast, how do they contact you to find out more information about your company and about hiring opportunities?
Okay. I like to think we've got a really great website. So it's ecslimited.com. That's ECSLimited.com. So we've got a whole hiring page on there. There's a lot of great stuff. We've got some great one particular video we call it the grit video that's on there. We have a lot of people that come in that have watched that, and it really gave them an idea of what the job was about, and really encouraged them to look into it. So go to that hiring page on there. You'll be able to do a search by location or by position, so you can do a lot of stuff looking on there first, and then there should be like a contact information as well. There's also a similar page for interns. If there's somebody that's trying to be in some kind of formal intern program, we do have that as well for co-ops and interns. So we have those programs as well. There's a whole different page for them, different information on it that talks about it. We've got a really great program in that regard as well. So you can check that out if you're still in school. That's one thing you can look at, and just make sure that when you are applying, and you can apply to one, and then when somebody calls you, you can kind of clarify that, because you may not be sure what category you get fitted into, because we do have a great staff that does that first look at people for us. And so that's really the best way to reach out, because that way you can see everything that's out there. And then if you do, let's say you apply and you can't find the right position or the right location, you can still apply to another one. Just make sure you're clear when somebody reaches out, or when there's a information that you can fill in regarding location. Then you still got the option to mention, well, here I'll look in this place, but I'm really looking for this other area. I didn't see anything posted, and we'll make sure we make a note of that, because you never know that it may be that right around the corner that what you're really looking for as far as location or position may come open.
Well, Johnathan, again, we want to thank you for your tips and your time to share all the things that you share with our Tri-County Technical students and alumni. And this event has been hosted by Career and Employability Resources Office at Tri-County Technical College. Career and Employability Resource Office is here for student and alumni to provide career counseling, educate you on work-based learning opportunities, job search assistance, mock interviews, resume assistance, and so much more. You can contact us at the information that will be listed at the end. Thank you for your time. And until next time, stay safe. And remember, bright careers starts here. Bye for now.